the only thing I had left on the wish list was just a bunch of different ideas for content or events for the CDL. Obviously, this is the first year of the minor, which I think in theory sounds like a great idea to kind of break up the monotony of the qualifiers, because we've talked about in the past, nobody wants to watch 4 or 5 straight weeks of qualifiers, especially early in the season where the standings are still kind of like, okay, like you might lose a bunch of games but you could still make it up in the back end. It's a little bit different obviously toward the end of the season where you have the standings implications and like, are you going to champs if you lose these 3 matches and so on and so forth. So the minor is a good idea and I'm really in favor of it. Even if it's online or offline, like I know it's online now. I don't care really. Like that's not something that I care about. That's something the players should care about, but not necessarily the viewers at large. Like on a, like obviously you want fans and you want the environment, but I just want more different stuff from the CDL, and that's one way to do it. I would love to see in the future we have a minor for each of the stages throughout the season. We only have 2 so far this season. I also this is stuff like outside of the CDO necessarily, but it's something that Activision or Microsoft should be pushing for. SND only tournaments involving these players. Like just put up $1,000 prize pool and say, hey, we're gonna stream it on the Call of Duty YouTube channel. Which 20 players want to be a part of this tournament, or open it up to the entire league or whatever and say we're doing these S&D only tournaments. Let's start doing tournaments like 1v1, 2v2, 3v3s, and put up money, because I know the players get very motivated by that, and have them kind of compete against each other in a non-CDL format. Because we don't have S&D tournaments nearly as much nowadays as we did, which was something to give players something to stream. And that's part of it, is like give the players content that they can stream and make content out of, because they don't like doing it with scrims, which are the only other thing that really people care about. Like they don't care if like people are pub stomping necessarily. So 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4 S&D tournaments would be, in my opinion, really entertaining. And something I've talked about for literally years at this point is a Money 8's league. We've seen it in Counter-Strike with the FPL, or I know it's like ESEA Pro at some point. Like that is something I think Call of Duty should implement. Like put up a pot of $5,000 for a month. And what was it? Breaking Point had their
Yeah.
Money 8's league. So something like that. I maybe even partner with Breaking Point and say like, hey, do you guys want to help us run this? And we can split something, or we could just give you some advertising or whatever, just something like that to help the players produce content where they don't have to think about it. They just go and they play. You could see these different players intertwine with each other and communicate with each other. Money Eights was definitely something that I got hooked onto, like watching players when I was getting into Call of Duty. I mean, so, very memorable moments happen in those kinds of streams. I'm not sure if the CDL wants to promote that kind of stuff, but like I don't see what the difference is between playing Money Eights and gambling or whatever, versus like, don't they get some kind, or at some point they got money for each win that they got, or the bounties, the stupid bounties that have happened in the CDL where they're like, these matches
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
$5,000. Like who cares? Like that's not something that people necessarily care about, but it would actually matter if you said that this Money Eights session is worth $5,000. People would actually care. People would tune in, and I think that's something that the CDL should do. So that was just in general. I just want to see more content and event-based stuff that can kind of entertain people, maybe outside of the match days and outside of the whatever 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock window we have for CDL matches every week.